And we are live. What is happening, everybody?
Jeez, man.
Hey, man. I mean, it had to happen. It's happening tonight. Yeah, you love that sound. What is going on, everybody? We need a little man bat in our diet today. That's for damn sure. What's up, Scott?
We actually get to talk about an episode tonight.
Yes.
Which is like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved our whole, getting to know you kind of thing, but this is what we're here for.
This is what we're here for.
Talking about episodes.
It was funny because when it came to our premiere episode, I actually had episode 1 in there, but I changed it to intro episode. And I'm like, no, we got to label the episodes as we go through the episodes of Batman, the animated series. So I was like, all right, episode 1, this is it right here. And yeah, man, I mean, it's been a crazy day, guys. Like I said, I was giving a little breathing room because Tim is still talking to Jay, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Justice Con has been absolutely fantastic. And man, how's your day been, Scott? Nice shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes, totally was wearing this the whole time.
Yeah.
I was trying to be subtle.
Yes,
subtle's my nature. So I believe someone referred to it as understated. I'm not sure how to take that. I'm going to take it as a compliment.
Hey,
I don't know.
Take it any way you can, right there, man. But no, it's been pretty gnarly. Like, I mean, I don't know about you. I woke up like fairly early, especially after having a vodka stream last night. A little soggy in the brain, somewhat. But I woke up. It was one of those things where I woke up at I think I woke up at 6 and I went, oh God, I need to get, and then I woke up at 6:30, and it was just like one of those, I was so going, okay, today I'm going to be interviewing, of course, Slade himself. And I don't know how you were kind of treating today when it came to.
Well, here's my thing is that we had to go over to my parents' house for Liam's 8th birthday.
Yeah, you have birthdays.
I had birthday parties.
Yeah.
And but I knew I was going to drive all the way out to my parents' house in a separate car because I was going to have to leave my family to come back to our house to do the interview. And it was so funny. Everyone's texting me and tweeting me you're nervous. How you doing? This and that. I'm like, dude, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I know.
That car ride back home, dude, it all hit.
Dude.
It all hit me, right? I was like,
no. That's exactly okay. So my process usually when it comes to stuff like this is I was perfectly fine, whatever, it's fine. Oh yeah, you're gonna be interviewing Joe Mang. I'm like, cool, yeah, it's fine, it's gonna be fine. Then probably an hour and a half beforehand, that's when the pacing back and forth started, this morning. I don't know. It's just one of those where I'm looking at my notes and I'm going, okay, how am I going to direct this interview? And I have a little hallway and I was going into my kitchen, out of my kitchen, into my kitchen, out of my kitchen, all while, Chris Wong Swenson is, interviewing Ray Fisher, or even before that with Shiraz and Porter, man. I mean, it's just I'm listening as I'm just pacing back and forth going, okay, how am I going to do this? But, it went well. And I must say, like I said, match made in heaven with you and Harry Lennox, man. I mean, come on, dude. It just, I don't know. It's just the way that, the interview that you handled the interview. And then the fact that he brought out the prop, the Chacos. I was like, yes. Your reaction was my reaction. I was like, oh yes. Cause when you brought it out and then all of a sudden he just looks and goes, oh, hey, I got it too. And it was just fuck yes, please. Yes. So good.
Oh, and I've gotten some wonderful feedback from all kinds of people, and today has just been a great day. I mean, we all had fun with Justice Con last year because it was all the build up and stuff, but thank you to the Nerd Queens and Meg for actually inviting us to be a part of it this year, because it has been a completely different experience, and I can't say thank you enough.
No,
it's just
no, they when it came to last year, I mean, last year it was something new, it was something different. And, they were handling every single panel. And I think that was one of the things we're going, no, that it needs to be different hosts, not to mention, I mean, just the just how exhausted they were from doing that. And I think that was like one of the things they went, okay, next year, no, we have to have different hosts. And this is going to be a lot bigger, which it is. And we're only in day 2. There's still a whole other.
We have a whole other day.
Yes. And you guys, I mean, and the fact, I mean, I love the fact that you and Tim are going to be interviewing Zach tomorrow. Can't wait to see that, because yeah, it's just been great to see how everything's been just in a year's time, not less than a year. I think,
it's less than a year, because it would be 9 months at the end of this month, because once again, Justice Con happened 2 days before my youngest child, for Callum, was born. So I will always remember when Justice Con #1, because I remember we were doing the live stream afterwards, and Heather had some blood pressure issues. We actually had to go to the hospital. That, like, I bounced out of the live stream because I was like, I need to take my wife to the hospital. Bye, guys.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So, I mean, but the fact that this year, I mean, it's just everything's been running smoothly. I mean, I had some technical difficulties, sadly, on mine. Of course, it has to be mine, right, guys?
It has to. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was funny because I clicked the wrong intro. I clicked the generic.
I heard about that. Yes, yeah. I heard about that.
The generic, like, StreamYard intro, as opposed to the one that they made particularly for the day. And I just kind of I laughed because I clicked the right one at first. I'm like, no, that's the wrong one. And then I clicked the generic one and I went, fuck it. Just let it run. It's just, that's the way it's going to be. You know what? I'll stand out like that. Let it be, me to be the one that put the wrong intro in. Hey, and it worked.
Hey, you know what I got? All I can say is shout out to Fatma. Fatma was my.
That's right. She was
She was my co-pilot. She was there dealing with all the video. I'm not a YouTuber, so it was not.
That's what's sad is I am, and I.
But I cannot give enough love and appreciation to Fatma, because she was doing all of that behind the scenes. All I had to do was talk to Harry.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is I didn't know. I thought is Nana or Cole or Meg going to be handling that? And then when everything was supposed to go, I'm like, oh wait, am I supposed to do this? And then that's why I started. Oh shit, click, And I was like, so I should have asked that question, because we, of course, before the streams would all start, we all kind of, have a backstage kind of thing, and you wait for the guests to arrive. And I mean, I know you had a little bit of a late issue with Harry, which was, a lot of people were going, well, what's going on here? But I mean, that was bound to happen. It's
going to happen.
Yes.
But you know what? I kept the trains running on time.
You did.
Because by the time Enosh had Totopoulos, the schedule never had to change. We just ate into the buffer that the girls have already. I mean, because that's the thing we got to talk about, is that, yes, there's different hosts this year, but all of that logistics, all that planning, all them. They've got this thing. Yeah. We're the talent.
We're the talent. Yeah, that's all we are. We're just the pretty faces right here. So, but no, it all went well. And thank you everybody. I saw some people in the chat talking about our interview, but like I said, I think you took the cake when it came to the interview. I mean, it was just, and I have to commend the girls too for, putting us together with the certain people, because they had to figure out which host would work with which guest. And when they told me I was getting Joe, I was going, interesting. But then, and I even said this last night on the Vodka stream, if you remember, I said, I found that one thing. That we're going to connect on that's not, superhero related. And it was our love for Metallica. I'm just saying. And when I was like, oh yeah, Joe's a Metallica fan. And so that was kind of the running theme. I brought that up probably 3 times throughout the whole thing. And I mean, I asked him, I was like, what would Slade Wilson's favorite Metallica song be? And he pulled out the exact song that I thought. I was like, yes, Disposable Heroes, Master of Puppets. And he exactly did that. That was my Chaco's moment right there. When you were I went, yes, Disposable Heroes. I knew you would say that, and I was like, that was my moment when for Joe. So
I mean, how can you believe that my guest would have a prop?
Right? I mean, dude. That was so great. When I saw him look, and then he just brought it up, I'm like, oh man. He's such a treasure, Mr. Harry Lennox. Man, it was so good. I mean, and like I said, like you guys just talking with each other. My God, it was just a match made in heaven right there.
Yes, like tonight, you and me talking Batman the Animated Series.
We definitely are. We're getting into our first episode, which of course is On Leather Wings, which obviously you see the thumbnail and everything. I mean, obviously we talked about it last week where, you know, one of the biggest lures of Batman the Animated Series is the fact that it has these these title cards that are just adds to this series. And I mean, look at how basic it actually is. It's a bat that looks like that, and it just has the lettering, the way that it is, and it's just beautiful. It's just fucking beautiful. I mean, when I came up with the thumbnail,
and then you get Shirley Walker's score over it, and it's just da 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 boo boo boo. I mean, it's just like that. It wasn't just the art itself. Like the art could be so super simple,
but you need that. But then you get
you get that score, and it just set the mood for the episode.
It really did. It really did. And then the episode opens up by seeing couple policemen in like the little police helicopter thing, and they're kind of just patrolling. And you know what I noticed, and I probably, this is the first time I noticed, is one of the cops is voiced by Kevin Conroy, isn't it?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I've known that. I know that forever. It was funny though, because it was that's what I'm here for, Dave. I'm here to go. I'm here to go. What, you just now noticed this?
Dude, I did. That's what's sad. When I rewatched the episode, I was like, wait a minute, that is Kevin Conroy. Why did I not hear that at first? For some reason, I was fully tuned in with my notepad, and I'm going, what can I, maybe it's just because I know that you probably already knew it. So all of a sudden, my everything was on. So I was like, wait, that is Kevin Conroy that's doing that voice of one of these guys. It's awesome.
Well, it's funny because it's the first episode.
Yes.
No one's going to know that when you're first watching it. Like, it's not going to bother anyone because they haven't heard Conroy's voice yet.
Exactly. But it was just, I don't know, all of a sudden, like when it started, I'm like, wait a minute. How did I not realize that is, the guy who voices Batman? That's him doing like a much lighter version of his voice. Hey, did you see that? I got something on the and the way that because these two cops are, they're just doing their normal patrol, and they get a little blip on their radar, and sure enough, there's something flying, but it's not quite Batman, right?
I know, and what I love about it is Bruce Timm has made the fact that this episode, the reason that this first episode was so important was because, as he, in his own words, he said, this episode had to make a statement.
Oh, totally. Well, you know what's funny? Like, and I was thinking about this even before I rewatched it. It's just the fact that to start off with not the Joker, not a common rogues gallery villain for Batman, you're starting off with Man-Bat. This is essentially a werewolf story. This is about a guy who ends up into a monster.
Yeah, it's perfectly a Jekyll and Hyde kind of deal.
Yes, exactly.
And that was the point they wanted to make, was like, this is our Batman, because this is a Batman that, this is obviously not 66 Batman, but it's also not Burton Batman, because you have a Man-Bat. It was I think the idea was, we didn't need it to be realistic. We just needed it to be believable. Yeah. There needed to function. So the three major words they kept on saying, because I also went back and I listened to this episode with the commentary with Bruce Timm and Eric Radomski.
Okay.
And they talked about mood, mystery, and drama. Those were their guiding principles. And I mean, dude, how can you not watch the first 30 seconds of this episode and not already have mood, mystery, and drama and realize,
well, I mean,
this is no Batman that has been portrayed in any kind of outside of the comic books.
Well, you get a good feel of the world, because even like you said, these are cops that are in this like helicopter Zeppelin type thing. They're just, they're just doing their thing. And then even when they get that little blip, they go that shot where it just just goes through the clouds.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
And the studio that did this episode, because something we'll get into actually by our next episode is the extremes of in my subjective opinion, the quality of animation between episodes. It varies greatly episode to episode. And this one was the studio Spectrum. And I love Spectrum because I can, off the top of my head, because I can notice this animation style, when this studio does an episode, I know it's going to be one of my favorites. Like, this is the studio that did Clayface Part 2. This is the studio that did Robin's Reckoning Part 1. This is the studio that did Two-Face Part 1. And it's just, it's so liquid, and the colors. And that was another thing they talked about. Was it's so funny. We talked about how they were using the resources that Tiny Toons had.
Yes.
Literally, they did not have the money to buy more colors for the show. So all the colors you're seeing in these early episodes are literally them taking the Tiny Toons color palette and having to make that work.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's what makes this whole thing work. And that's what's so great about it. And like you said, the score is so, it is here, like with this episode, just like I said, just rewatching it now and just full on going, okay, what is this all going to give me? I got my notepad and I was just hearing this score. And it's just all throughout this episode, 100%. And it's glorious. You could tell, obviously this is the first episode and they were like, hey, we have this at our disposal. We're going to use it a lot. And it just sets the mood. Like I said, even with everything that's happening on the screen, even like just like the first 30 seconds, like you said, and it's so beautiful, Scott.
Right.
It's beautiful.
And Tim and Radomski, because you remember we talked about last week about how they were first-time producers. Yeah. Nobody had faith in them because they're like, who are these two clowns that are? And they said that this episode got so many people off their back.
I'm sure.
Because once you got because they said they were sweating. They were waiting for the animation to come back from Japan, and they were like, how is this going to look? And apparently, even without the score on top of it, just the visuals, they were like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. It actually looks good.
Everybody was relieved. I know. Like I said, it just really sets the tone. And then, so you got the story where it's like, all right, there's somebody, it's almost kind of funny too, because when I was watching this, I kind of, specifically now that we have Zack Snyder's Justice League, where, they're kind of figuring out like what is going on in Metropolis and Star Labs and stuff like that. And they have a drawing of, hey, that looks kind of like Batman. And now, like in this episode, there's a newspaper that's like literally says like a war on Batman. And like Batman is like, doing he robbed this pharmaceutical place and everything. It just, I don't know. I just kind of drew like a little bit of a parallel, like, wow, Batman is, something happened. Somebody broke into this and it was a Batman. It was I guess you could say a Batman-like figure. And now Batman is being looked at as like, what the fuck? What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Well, and that scene, it's like in episode 1, you've got Mayor Hill, you got Bullock, you got Gordon,
you got Dent.
You got Dent. And Dent's already
flipping the coin.
Dent.
Like I totally forgot. Like, oh yeah, that's right. Dent's there just flipping the coin and just talking. And then that's it. Setting up.
And you know what? And me as a 10-year-old, I didn't get that.
No.
Like that.
I don't think anybody's.
I don't know who Harvey Dent is.
Yeah.
Even though Billy D. Williams plays him in Batman '89, I don't know who Two-Face is. Like this kind of like set up my knowledge of Two-Face, and so flipping the coin is this great Easter egg that went right over 10-year-old Scott's head.
Yeah, and then like because you're in like Gordon's office, and then you're already getting a sense of Bullock, who just fucking hates the Batman, and like he's just all about like I'm gonna get him, and then just randomly it's just like you see the coin flip, and I'm like, oh yeah, Harvey Dent's in the first episode, holy shit, and it's just establishing already where like you said when we were 10 years old, whatever the hell. and we weren't like fully into it, you don't get it. But I'm sure diehard Batman fans were like, oh, look at that right away. Right away. We already got Harvey Dent just sitting in a chair flipping a coin. And that's it.
Yeah. And boy, can we talk about Bob Costanza as the voice of Harvey Bullock? I mean, perfect casting.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, and what's great about this episode too is like the fact that Gordon is like, no, Batman's a good guy, but Bullock is so just, I want to get this guy, get this vigilante. So he could taste it. Like anytime he just wants to get Batman, but Gordon is always like, well, wait a minute, that's not the right guy. No, he's always pushing against him. I mean, there's a point. We'll get to the point where like that happens at the end, towards the end, where it's just I love what Gordon does in there. But when it comes to we got Harvey Dent flipping the coin, and then of course we go to the Batcave, and Batman sees the paper, and he's got to do what he's got to do, and I love the back and forth between him and Alfred, and then there's just like a mention of Bambi. Somebody that Bruce Wayne was supposed to go on a date with, but apparently he's gonna have to cancel out. And Alfred makes that little, that little sarcastic, I guess we'll tell Bambi that you're not gonna make it or something like that. I'm being hyperbole, but you saw that too, I'm sure.
Oh, of course. I mean, he's got the little grin, and this is our first episode with not Ephraim.
Nope. Yeah. It's more of the Who's the voice that was originally?
His first name is like Clive. I didn't get his last. I should have gone back and got his last name. But it was interesting. There was a story about it because apparently he recorded like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then he went on summer stock tour, and he wasn't going to be available for the rest of the summer. And so that's when they had to completely recast, and they got Ephraim, which was funny because Bruce Timm and Eric Radomski.
You knew it was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen. So you go on and tell people, because basically what happened was that they didn't want Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. They wanted their Alfred to be stuffier, authentically British, and less warm. And that was when Tim and Radomski said, sometimes we really don't know what we're doing. Yeah. Because now I couldn't imagine anyone else but Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. being Alfred.
Yeah, when you like the later episodes, when you actually hear like, okay, that's the one that we actually were talking about. But I just thought it was funny, like he made that like little jab, like, oh yeah, talking about Bambi, and like, what's her name, Bambi, and it was just like, that's the name. In the first episode that Playboy Bruce Wayne, he's got a date with somebody named Bambi. I like it. I love it.
Well, and you can also tell this is the first episode because look at the introduction the Batmobile gets. Like, you get like
full on
jump
door. You get the door opening from the Batcave. Yeah,
you get the whole drive from the Batcave to the door, from the door to Gotham City. Like it's like they spent like a minute on the Batmobile. It's like, yeah, this is the first episode. We're going to show this off.
You got to show that off. And then when Batman goes out to that the pharmaceutical place that got broken into, guess what? We see Batman doing detective shit. I love it.
I know. Oh, and before we see him doing detective shit, we see 2 scientists getting ready to get it on. Like, you're going,
yeah. Come here, you. Like they come out of the door and they're like, come here, you. And then they start making out. And then all of a sudden they see Batman just swoop up and they're like, oh my God, he's back, because they thought, of course, Batman already, robbed the place or whatever.
And of course you want to look at Batman and go, thanks for the cock block, buddy. Thank you so much.
I know, right? Like that guy's like, seriously, man, come on. We were about to just get it on in our lab coats and Batman had to fuck it up for us. Damn.
Oh, God. And once again, stuff you do not expect to see in a kid's cartoon.
No, that's what I mean. That's another thing too. It's like, wow. Yeah. Wow. Now that I'm looking at it, like with this stream, this is what I love. The fact that we're revisiting this in this stream where like, I'm really looking at every little thing and I'm kind of going, yeah, you would not see that. It's like, wow. Yeah. These 2 scientists are literally about to just like start dry humping each other. And Batman just goes, oh, that's not going to happen now. Sorry.
But I always remember that when we're talking about the detective work, there's an image that always sticks in my head about, like, opening the file and putting the flashlight between his teeth, like digging through the file, that cool spray stuff that he,
and then he puts the goggles on to try to just like, and then he finds like the little bat hairs. And then of course it's funny too, because when the security guard beforehand, it's just he's, and I'm pretty sure is the voice of the security guard, the guy who does Two-Face. What's his name?
Richard Mall.
Yes, I think he's doing the voice of the security guard. It sounds like that when he's like, talking into it like he's like some like TV host or whatever the hell. And before Man Bat shows up and scares the shit out of him and throws him out the window into, he survives, but he goes out into like the little river or stream that's happening. But
because we always have to see them like come up because they went standards and practices.
Yeah,
we have to have the shot of them like, good, they're alive.
I just love the fact, like, when you see the newspaper and you see him like in the bed, like with like a Band-Aid, it's always over the bridge of the nose. Anytime that somebody gets messed up, you got to put that Band-Aid over the bridge of the nose to let it be known that his nose also got effed up as well as his head wrapped up.
Oh God! Don't you just love cartoon imagery of like this is what it like? It's like everyone's always in traction.
Right. It is. It seems like that. But anyway, but when he had that tape recorder, it falls under like that table, and of course the police don't find it. Batman finds it though. Of course, Batman finds it, and then like what I played at the beginning was he has the sounds. And what's funny too is last week, remember when I said like when we were talking about Kevin Conroy doing distincting the voices of Batman and Bruce Wayne, I'm like, what was that episode where he actually like gets a call from like a doc, and then he goes, "Hey, what's up, doc?" or whatever the hell. It's this episode.
Same episode. I know.
I was like, oh yeah, it's this fucking episode because Bruce Wayne shows up at I forgot what the doc. I mean, he's very cynical, of course. He's like, you donate all this money, you just expect all this.
Well, and you know who that is?
Who is that?
It's Rene Abrajo. I can never pronounce it. It's the guy who played Odo in Deep Space Nine.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And also, I'm sorry, I have to. He's also the chef in The Little Mermaid, the one who goes, Le poisson, Same guy.
Same guy.
Same guy. I'm just like, but once again, it's like, here are these people. Like, you're sitting there going, dude, that's Odo.
Wow.
That's awesome.
See, this is what the stream's all about right here, man. I did not know any of that. See?
See that, and that's something that I look so much forward to. Is like when I recognize voices, it's like, like that documentary on Netflix. Have you ever seen that one? I know that voice.
No, I haven't seen that. No, I gotta watch it. Yeah.
You gotta watch it. It's a documentary about voice actors.
Okay. I'm definitely going to watch that because it fascinates me.
Oh, you will love it then. But, it's this kind of thing. It's like, I know that guy. Like, I hear the voice, and it's like, I know that I just know who that is. And I just wish I could pronounce it. And he's, of course, unfortunately passed away in like the last couple of years. But he always plays like that grizzled, whatever.
Yeah. And that's exactly who this is. And I just love like Bruce Wayne. I mean, first off, Bruce Wayne, we see Bruce Wayne for the first time, and he's wearing, which you'll see a lot, his brown coat with a yellow shirt, black tie. That's kind of like his colors right there. When you see Bruce Wayne, you're expecting the brown coat, the yellow short shirt underneath. I mean, that's kind of like how he dresses throughout the series.
Which is kind of funny because that new Batman 89 comic that DC is going to be putting out this summer, that digital first, they're drawing Michael Keaton like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I love. I'm like, that's fine. Use that as a template. I don't care. I love it when people, and you see it all around social media where artists will take, they'll take Batman live action, whether it's Batman vs Superman, whether it's Batman Returns, Batman Forever, whatever. They'll put it like, oh yeah, this is how, if they drew it like Batman the animated series, this is what it would look like. And I love that. I love it when artists do that and they take like a live action, like, well, this is what it'll look like in the animated universe. So I'm glad they're actually doing that because
yeah.
it's
And it's always funny because Kevin Conroy sounds so young in these early episodes that this Bruce Wayne actually works for that really younger Kevin Conroy voice.
Yeah.
Because his voice is just so, it's funny as he's gotten older. It's been great that he basically just plays Batman because his voice is gotten to that point that it just lives down there now. When now he just has so much more of that higher Bruce Wayne voice.
And like I said, like when he's in the Batcave, when he's doing his analyzing everything, and then he gets a call from the doc because he's like trying to figure out, like, he gives him the bat hairs, the hairs of, to analyze, and then of course the recording, and then we got the scientist Kirk Langstrom. Sorry, I was like trying to find where it was in my notes here, but yeah. So he plays the tape like I played, at the beginning of the stream. That's exactly from that. And, they're all kind of like, what the hell is that? Like that doesn't sound kind of normal. What is going on with that? And he says, I might have a bat problem. And of course there's some winks where it's like the doctor goes, hey, bats are, incredible survivors and blah, blah, blah. And he says all this stuff. And, there is a wink to the audience when, like, Bruce goes, I forgot exactly what he says, but there's something that the doc says, and something about bats, and Bruce says something, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, but it is kind of like a wink, which I thought was pretty good. You remember? You don't remember?
I don't remember. It's just amazing how I can remember something so clearly. And other thing, there's been some stuff going on. My brain's been a little fried lately.
Today is just like, like I said, I was like, damn, for the first episode that we're going to be breaking down, I'm like, today probably wasn't the best, but it's okay. We're still gonna, it's still okay. We're still gonna, it's gonna be okay. And then of course, what I loved about this episode too. So he's back in there, and then of course, Bullock, who has the number out for Batman. And he's just like, get every available unit out there right now. Helicopters, every backup. He's got his toothpick in, which I love the fact that Bullock has a toothpick. And then
because he can't have the cigar. Like, it was one of the, because man, Bullock in the comics, Bullock is like chomping a cigar. It's got I wouldn't even call it a 5 o'clock shadow. It's more like a 10 o'clock shadow.
If only. But the toothpick is fine. It works. It works.
It's just so it's so like hard-boiled detective. It's like, the guy's like, and he's like picking his teeth. It makes him almost even more of a slob, because how annoying is that when you're like picking your teeth?
Did you just eat, you fat fuck? Come on.
Yes, he probably did.
He probably did. Yeah, because he's a large fella. He definitely is. And I love the fact that he gets everybody over there, and then you get these like stormtrooper, like
the SWAT team. Yes.
They all come like running out, and they almost like bump into each other. Like, wow, you guys are gonna take on the Batman? Good luck.
And cool story, because that SWAT van they drive in is such an interesting. That's a real design.
Yeah.
I mean, it apparently was a GM touring vehicle that Tim and Radomski saw, like they were going to lunch one day, and it was parked on the street outside of the Warner Brothers lot. And they just kind of went, that's unique. And they just said, let's make that our SWAT van. And that thing stays for like the rest of the series.
It really does. I mean, it fits too. It fits within the, within the animation. And then, and of course, these guys are going to take on the Batman. And then I love the fact that, somebody throws some smoke stuff, and then it's like, hey, bink, there's some stuff that can blow up here. And
I know.
I love this. I love this scene because, Batman's doing his thing where he's got the goggles on, he's looking at everything, and then all of a sudden the cops show up, and then things happen. And then, they throw the smoke bomb in there, and it goes right next to explosive. And then what does he do? He grabs the one guy that's there and then just launches out of the window, saves the guy. Just fucking, oh man, so good.
Oh, and the animation, of course, is so fluid, and it's just, and I love it when the guy lands. Like they've all been like these super macho SWAT guys, and that guy was just kind of like,
and then he just passes out. You
okay,
know, and
I'm
it's funny
sorry,
too.
but do you laugh though the fact that Batman just literally runs across the street into an alley?
Yeah, no, I did, because it's just like he saves the guy, and then he just darts off, and it's just Batman darting off into a fucking alleyway with his cape up in the air, and it's just kind of like, yeah, it is funny. And then, like you said, the SWAT guy just goes, you know. There's the
and you look at the exploded pharmaceutical company, and you just want to go, wow, how many lawsuits does the Gotham City Police Department have coming their way? Because Bullock came in, like, seriously, dude, did you have to come in guns blazing with an entire SWAT team? And these SWAT guys show up throughout the series, and they are the most gung ho. Like, I'm thinking of Mask of the Phantasm right now, and that scene with the SWAT team, and you're just like, guys, just chill,
relax a little bit, okay? You know, there's something called, you know, being tactical, and you're not being tactical, guys.
Not at all. Okay, here's why I jump in to drop some more voice knowledge for you. Okay, do you know who the voice of Kirk Langstrom is?
No, tell me.
It is Mark Singer, aka the Beastmaster.
No shit.
Yes.
Wow. Really?
Yes.
Man, I did not know that either. See, this is what it's. Wow, I did not know that. That's pretty awesome.
And the guy who played the Beastmaster literally turns
into a beast.
Wow. And I'm going to tell you, that transformation sequence is legit. Like,
you know what? Well, I have the clip, and I love that clip because it is. Let's see. Do I have the right clip? Oh, here it is. Yeah, we're gonna. Let me bring this up right now because I mean it's creepy. It's like this is. I mean, again, this is the first episode, guys. First episode, and they were just flat out going, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna go full on man bat." And yeah, this is it right here, and just the way that the voice and everything. So let's go a little further.
Oh, and you just look at him. He's wearing the big black gloves. Yes. And it's like, no, I don't trust you. I'm sorry. Not at all. And he's way too chalant about walking to his lab and seeing Batman.
And Batman's like, yeah, this is all a lie. And then, of course, you got everything bubbling right there. You got all the, yeah. God, I did. Yeah. Now I hear it. Scott. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I hear it. But let's see. It's, right there.
It's in me. Oh.
And then the laugh. Oh God, let's hear that again.
And it only needs one more component. Process. It's in me, Batman.
Oh.
Ooh.
And then the laugh.
Oh, and that music, those strings.
And the transformation. I mean, come on. This is literally the first episode, guys.
Oh,
look at that.
I want to know how many kids this gave nightmares to.
Oh, dude. Seriously. Look at that transformation. And then, of course, like when, he knocks over all that. And then that scream. Oh, God, it's so good.
And it's always interesting to me, like this episode also, too, you notice how in the corners there's like that black shadow that like goes around. And I've always been curious, like, was that a mistake? Was that a stylistic choice? Like it just seemed because you see it throughout the episode where like the corners are not quite there. And it's, I don't know, but it just adds to that noir. Dark. It's just it's funny. You listen to Radomski and Tim in commentary, and they just spend the entire episode going, "Damn, this is dark." Like, and they don't even mean like totally. They didn't mean no. Like it, like the screen is dark. They apparently had arguments with the broadcast people because they talked about how it's almost legally too dark. Like we actually can't broadcast something this dark. And I'm like, and they were looking at you going, Is that a thing? Like, can things actually be too dark for TV.
I know, seriously, man. And then what's great about that episode too is like, or what's about that moment too is like, is it his wife or just his girlfriend? I can't even remember if it was like wife or girlfriend.
I think it's his wife. It is his wife because the grumpy guy is his father-in-law.
That's right.
Which is why he's covering for him.
Yes. And then she shows up, and then he feels like a little bit of shame. You see the sadness in the eyes,
and the little ears
go down.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of like, oh shit, yes. As much as I love this, I didn't want her to see what I was doing. And then of course, it launches out into this whole like, hey, I got a grappling gun. I'm gonna hook it up to your fucking leg, and I'm gonna ride. We got Batman riding the Man-Bat, and then we go back to the guys in the helicopter, same guys, and then the same dude who's voiced by Kevin Conroy going, I have it again, and then the other guy goes, not again, you know.
Oh, wait, that's where Batman's face like goes boom, right up against it and smashes the
window. Like, I mean, I'm like, damn, Batman. I mean, I know you got a good chin and jawline. That's what it takes to be Batman, but jeez, that looked like it hurt.
Well, and the funny thing is that the scripts for Batman the Animated Series were notoriously short. Like, people were telling them you can't have scripts this short. It's because a lot of the action they didn't script. They gave the directors and the storyboard artists the freedom to just go, because at that point they were like, of course, what the broadcast people wanted, they wanted everything detailed in the script because that way they could censor it and mark stuff out. If you turn in a script and the action isn't detailed, you can kind of get away with more stuff because the artists can just go off and design. So Kevin Altieri, the director of this episode, and his storyboard artists, they had the freedom to storyboard all those action sequences just on their own. And Tim and Radomski talked about on the commentary that amazing shot that the studio did on their own, where it's like the camera's following the Man-Bat and it like pans around on the blimp, and Batman's like, just like swirling around, and they're sitting there going, wow, this shot turned out so well.
And then of course they're like in like they start going through like a building that's being constructed, so it's got all the steel beams, and they're just whipping through that, and then Batman, just because he's fucking Batman, he like gets on a beam and then just yanks. He just stops Man-Bat from just flying, just yanks on him, and I'm like, yeah, that's Batman. Fuck yeah, I love that.
Even though we're logistically going, he would totally rip her
off. Oh, of course.
We're not
gonna, you got to suspend some disbelief here, guys. I mean, of course. But I just love the fact that he just perched himself, he got on that beam and he just went, and just
he got himself planted, and he's like, okay, momentum, there we go. And the cool thing is, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but at the end of the fight, when it's all done, you actually see blood running down his nose and his mouth.
Okay, thank you,
Only time.
God, I was gonna bring that up. I have it written down. Blood on Batman. I'm like,
only time in the entire series.
Yes.
That they got away with with him bleeding.
One of the only other times you actually see Batman bleed is in Mask of the Phantasm, when he punches the helicopters. You see blood shoot out of his fists. Yeah,
but it was a movie, so they could get away with it. Yes. But this was being broadcast on television.
Yes,
and somehow the first episode never happens again,
dude.
But they got it in the first episode.
Yeah, that was exact. I wrote that like with an exclamation point, like Batman bloody face right here, guys. I mean, it was just like you didn't see that. You didn't see that throughout. They probably went, no, you can't do that anymore. I'm sorry, no more blood. But yeah, I was like, wow. Like, it was just one of those things where it's like, I've noticed it probably before, but now that I'm really, investigating this with with a magnifying glass, I'm like, wow, that was not shown anywhere else besides maybe Mask of the Phantasm, where he was punching those Joker helicopters and blood shoots out of his fist. And I'm like, yeah, wow, Jesus Christ.
He also in Mask of the Phantasm, and we'll talk about when we talk about Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
But when he's in the fight in the building, when he's being chased by a SWAT team, when the explosions happen, he gets all like, but except Joker gets all bleed. Like, there's blood all over Mask of the Phantasm because they're like, oh, we're not on television. We can get away with stuff now.
Yeah.
But this is the beauty of this. Is my argument for why I wanted to do this in production order, because it's just amazing to watch the evolution of like, we're never going to see that again. Okay, no,
never going to see that again. And then I love the fact that Bullock is trying to, of course, still got his number down for Batman, and then with the helicopter pilot, he's like, well, wait a minute, like I want to do this, and this, and then the helicopter pilot goes, no, you can't, because because the commissioner, and he goes, well, who authorized that? The commissioner. And you see just Gordon just walking up, and then he's just like, he basically tells Bullock to fuck off.
No. And the animation is so weird because like, you see his hair's blowing because the helicopter. He actually takes the time to actually push his glasses back up. It's like, this is why I love this series. There's and this studio, like I said, Spectrum being the studio that animated this episode. Like
the commissioner,
and
he's just walking up, just like, no, Bullock, you're not going to handle this one. Sorry, I know you have
Bullock and his fat ass trying to jump into the helicopter. It's just like,
oh man, it's so good. And then so then of course we have the big fight. It wraps up, and then Batman figures out the thing that he knocks him out. He knocks him out because and gets him going, gets him back to the Batcave, and then of course Alfred makes his joke of like dinner for two or something like that. I think that when Man Bat's lying there, and then Batman figures out the one thing that he needs to do to get him back to Kirk. And then the episode wraps up where like, he brings it back to his wife, and basically says, and I love the fact that it said it right here, like what Batman says. Yeah, it's over for now. I love that. I love the way that it ends like that, because it's like, it could happen in the future, but for now, he's good.
I also love the fact when we talked last week about how this Batman has a heart. It's like, did he take Kirk Langstrom to jail? No. He flushed the stuff out of his system, and he's going to keep it quiet. It's like he knows once the drugs are out of him, this isn't going to happen again. But Batman's also going to probably keep an eye on him to make sure it doesn't happen again. Exactly. But I think that's an interesting choice to let Langstrom go. Like, it's like, I cured you. I'm returning you to your wife.
Okay.
We're good.
I'm not going to put you in Arkham or something like that. I mean, like you said, he's probably going to keep an eye on him. Of course, that's why he says for now. And of course, he's going to keep tabs. But I like the fact that too. It's like, hey, okay, I see what you did here. See what happened. I'm going to return you back to your wife. And you know what? That's it. Let's see what happens. Flush it all out of your system. Hopefully you're, you'll be okay. And I won't have to, get a grappling hook to your ankle again and fly with you this next time. But I see what you're saying. I love the fact that he didn't just automatically go, no, you're going into Arkham right now. Sorry bud.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you've mentioned the grappling gun a couple of times. I do want to take an opportunity to talk about the design of the animated series grappling gun, because I'm sorry, I've thought about this way.
Scott, can you keep talking? I have to use the restroom real quick. I've been holding it. So
I understand, dude.
Yes, I'm like, oh man, I forgot to pee before this, and I'm like, damn it. Sorry guys, but Scott, keep talking about the design, please.
Because guys, have you ever thought about I'm trying to think about this. Like, okay, so I'm going to take this. You come up with a design that you have to hold it in between your fingers. Have you ever tried to do this before? This is the most uncomfortable position, and it's wide too. So he's got two fingers on either end, and somehow he's going to manage to have a massive grip on this grappling gun. But yet you do this. And it's kind of cool though, because they put the button to launch it right here. So the thumb that's not holding onto the grappling gun gets to do the cool little trigger thing. I mean, I get the idea of the design for the mechanics, but I'm thinking about him getting whipped around and all that. And just, my fingers don't even stretch out that much. And it's just always been a weird little nitpick that I've had about just, how do you have a grip like this? This is not comfortable. I'm sorry. I just went on a weird rant
no. It's
about
totally
design.
fine. I apologize for the fact that I had to do that, but I was like, about 20 minutes in, I was like, oh man, I should have.
Dude. I had to go the last 30 minutes of my Harry Lennox interview.
Oh shit.
I had to I understand. Yeah. At least you had the freedom to like just be like, dude, Scott,
it got to the point where I was like, I can't. It's hurting right now. It really is. So I was like, all right, talk about the design, the grappling gun, and everything like that. And you know, someone brought up too is like the noise that comes out of the grappling gun. I mean, it's so distinct that you know,
like you get the idea that it's like pressurized gas or something, because it's like an explosion like a gunshot every time.
Well, and what they emphasize too in this episode, being the first episode, is, you know, you actually see it and you see it go, you know, reach out, like it's going to reach out and grab onto whatever it freaking lands onto. And it's great. And what was kind of cool too was what I noticed rewatching this episode is when he saves that SWAT guy, he doesn't use the grappling hook. He uses like a batarang with the rope next to it with a tree. That's how he like cushions the fall. like when they're flying out, he just goes, he just throws a batarang with the rope next to, you know, attached to it, and then they just kind of, okay, that's what softens the blow. He didn't use the grappling gun in this.
And that's an interesting point, because in these early episodes, you see a lot of it. Well, what I will call some inconsistencies, like even in this episode, you've got the grappling gun, you've got the batarang with the rope, you've got the rope he used to go into the pharmaceutical company, but it had like the wide bar. You could tell they hadn't quite like said, because give it a few episodes, and the only thing you're going to see is that grappling gun.
That's all it is. I mean, especially, I mean, you see the whole thing. You know, you see what especially when Robin's also there too. It's just that's all they're basically using when it comes to you know, swinging from whatever, building the building or whatever the hell. Yeah, you're right. There's like they were trying to still have their little feelers, like how is Batman going to be maneuvering like bat-like. And it's like they didn't exactly know. I think they were kind of testing it. They had the grappling gun, they had the batarang with the rope, and like you said, when he like swoops up, it's like, well, what is he exactly doing? You know, it just looks cool because he's got the fucking cape going out. You know, it's like,
And here's another thing. I love this series, but another one of my little nitpicks that I always have. I'm like, dude, where does all this stuff come from on this belt? I mean,
well, you know what? What's funny about this episode, when he's in the Batcave early on, he doesn't have it on, and then he puts it on. I was like, wow, I didn't notice that little detail where he's just like standing there and he doesn't have the belt on. And then when he's about to take off, when we see of course, the glamorous Batmobile shot, he puts on the belt. And I'm kind of going, yeah, where is everything at on that belt?
And I'm just, because what you'll see throughout the series, and I love it, is this move.
Yes,
it's always everything. It's always in the back. And I'm sitting here going, "There's no pouches. There's like, dude, where's these grappling guns come from?" And I love the show. I love the show dearly, but I have to call it. I have to call it.
I mean, when it comes to Batman's utility belt, I mean, obviously that is his tool that he has. And if you look throughout, I mean, not even just looking at the animated series, if you look at Tim Burton's Batman, you look at Nolan's Batman, you look at Batfleck. I mean, it almost goes, you almost see the evolution of, okay, when it came to Burton's Batman, when it came to Keaton's Batman, there wasn't much there either. And then it would just be like, it almost like he had like a Jedi mind trick of like, oh yeah, I need my grappling gun right now. And then it would just shift over and then he'd grab it and shoot it up. I'm like, wait a minute, how did that happen? Did he like mind control that? I don't know what's going on with that. And then you got Batman the Animated Series, that it's also like that. And then when you had like Nolan's Batman, it kind of was like, okay, when he would shoot the grappling hook, he would wrap it around like the front of it and kind of use that to like pull himself up. There was that portion of it. But then you have some versions of Batman that literally have the pouches. And I think even like later on in the animated world of this, like when we get later on, when there's like Batman and Robin and stuff like that, when the costume changes, you actually see the utility belt get a little more, pouchy, I guess you could say.
Yes, actually, you'll see it twice because when they do a flashback in Robin's Reckoning Part 1, you'll have pouches in the early version of his costume. And then when we get to the new Batman adventures and they do the redesign, they go back to the pouches, which I appreciate the pouches. I get it. And then, of course, later on, we get to Batman Beyond. I just love the fact that it just comes out of the suit. It's like,
it's all futuristic.
It's all future. It's like, it doesn't matter at that point. We have flying cars. It doesn't.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to a start off with the animated series, I mean, you can't get any better with Man-Bat. The fact that they decided not to start off with the Joker, they decided not to start off with like a character from Batman's Rogues Gallery that was going to be, this is going to be, a character that you guys know of, whether it's going to be Joker, Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin. No, we're going to start off with Man-Bat. That's essentially like a werewolf story, and you're going to see a guy transfer. Again, I mean, I could show that clip again. It's just, it's
a horror movie. Yes. They made a little horror movie.
They did.
And once again, it's like, this is not your daddy's Batman. I mean, at least as far as like when everyone's idea of Batman was like Adam West, it's like, no, this is not a Batman you've seen before. And it's not anything in the movies. We're going to get this horror movie villain that only just showed up in the 70s in the comics. I mean, if you think about like the Rogues Gallery up to that point, Man-Bat was relatively a new character. And let's be honest, how many of us didn't even know Man-Bat was a character until we saw him in this episode of the animated series? I was one of them.
Me too. I was like, I mean, when you're a kid, you go, the basics, and especially watching the Adam West Batman. It's like, oh yeah, that, but there was no Man-Bat in the Adam West Batman. Of course not. And that's what I love. I just love the fact, and it's funny too, because I mean, this is not the last time we will see the Man-Bat, and it's not the last time we're going to see like humans turning into beasts, in this series, which is what's cool about this series is like it goes all over the place. I mean, it'll have like those Rogues Gallery, villains, and then all of a sudden it'll just do like you said, a little mini horror movie, and that's exactly what this episode was. I love it.
Oh, this is the episode that just goes, when you want to talk about Batman being noir, like this is the kind of episode that I'm not talking about the sci-fi horror aspects, but when I think of Matt Reeves, the Batman, like this is the kind of episode that I go when Matt Reeves talks about noir, detective story, and I see that fandom trailer, it's like,
this is what
give it to me now. Like, give me something like this.
I mean, because it all works together with, like I said, in Gordon's office where you have, or no, it's the mayor's office, not
the mayor's office. Yeah.
Mayor's office. And, you got them all arguing. You got Bullock just going just all about Batman. You got Harvey just flipping his coin and establishing that. And then, just all, like you said, all the elements, the noir elements that are there with the two guys that are just patrolling in the little Hella Zeppelin, whatever the Hella blimps, whatever the hell they're called. And it's just, you have it all there. And like I said, I think my favorite shot is when it just comes out of the clouds like that. I'm like,
it's so
God, look at that animation.
Yes.
So good. I mean, when just revisiting that shot, I'm like, that shot. Yeah, because I think that shot was actually shown in that documentary that we talked about last week.
Well, it was also in the promos.
Yeah. That's right.
Back in '92, like that was one of those shots they used to like sell you on the series.
It's just a chef's kiss kind of a shot, and I can imagine just the animators going, "Look at that." I mean, it literally just comes out of the clouds and just, it almost like it's like a submarine, just like submerging like onto the surface of the water, but it's clouds. And it's just, it just really sets the mood of like, wow, this animation is fucking unique, guys. Unique. It's so good.
Oh my gosh. And also can we talk about the fact, okay, we talked about this last week. You got machine guns, you got grenades, you got explosions. I'm sitting here going,
you got Batman with sleeper little bombs, little balls that he just throws out. And then, yeah, it's just, oh God. And then, I mean, and then, like I said, and then also like Batman doing detective work, like when he does the spray and then he puts on these goggles, who knows where those goggles were? Probably from the back. Yeah. Were they in the back? Probably in the back too. And pulls the goggles out and he's searching. I mean, but it's detective Batman. And like you said, stuff like that, we're probably going to see in like Reeves Batman. I'm sure there's going to be a much more like, hey, where did the goggles come from? Though he'll probably actually show that, but still, it's Detective Batman. It's noir. It's fucking lovely.
So this is going to be quite different from the episode we're going to be talking about next time.
Oh yeah, because next week is going to be Christmas with the Joker, right?
Yes, it is Christmas with the Joker.
Yes.
Wow. That's a interesting episode, also with shots that I distinctly remember from the promos, advertising, because that became a fun thing back in 92 was you saw these shots in the promo and then at least 10-year-old me would be like, week to week would be like, when am I going to see that shot? Like I would remember things, and it was like, and Christmas with the Joker, if you want to talk about just the spectrum that this series does, can you think of 2 episodes that are more different than On Leather Wings and Christmas with the Joker?
I mean, you're literally going to have, we're going to be talking about Joker literally riding a Christmas tree
out of Arkham.
Shoots out of Arkham. I mean,
while singing Jingle Bells.
Yes. I mean, this is like, we have this horror movie that we had with this episode, and then we're going to go right to the Joker, where he literally rides a Christmas tree out of Arkham. And we'll talk more about that next week, but it is pretty funny. Like, yeah, you're talking about contrast right here, man.
Oh, this is why watching the show with you is going to be so much fun.
Well,
and here's another thing, because we can love something so much, and yet we can still go, okay, that's just ridiculous.
Exactly. I mean, like, now that we're like, we got our jeweler's loop out and kind of just like looking at these episodes a little more, a little bit more of magnified. It's just kind of funny, to make those comparisons. And I didn't even think about that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. The next episode is pretty distinctively different than, from what it was before, from this episode. But man, this was fun as of course. And man, I mean, I tell you what, we're only, this is it. This is only just like, we barely scraped the surface when it comes to this animated series. And I mean,
we just got what, 85 more
something
episodes
like
to go,
something like that.
I mean, getting still warmed up.
We're just loosening up right now, guys. And I mean, but this is a good episode to start with, because like I said, to start off like this, the first episode to be Man-Bat, not a common Batman Rogues Gallery, villain. And essentially, like I said, a horror story, because you see a transformation. We showed it, and it's just crazy. But like I said, next week, we're having some Christmas with the Joker. It's going to be fantastic. That's for sure.
Man, Dave, thank you so much again. This has been a great talk, man. And
Yeah.
thank you to everyone who stayed up to watch. We really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, guys. I mean, I still have the TV on. I mean, Jay is still talking. We got
what? You're joking?
No, dude, they're still going.
Oh my god!
Dude, like Nana and Cole joined, but yeah, Tim and Jay are still there. And I'm just saying, I'm like, we knew this was gonna happen though, because and that, like, I think you even said it best. Jay is an Energizer bunny, and he definitely is, and he is still talking. But yeah, the only thing that's different is Nana and Cole joined the Nerd Queens. Joined the.
I think it's probably just to give Tim, like, dude, let me help you here. Let me help you here.
Oh, that's what we love about Jay, man. It's awesome. So we appreciate you guys, taking the time just to talk some Batman the Animated Series with us. If you want to go back to the Justice Con channel and listen to the rest of what Jay Leva has to say. And yeah, like I said, we'll be back here next week talking about the episode 2, which will be Christmas with the Joker. That's what it's called, right? Christmas with the Joker. Yes. Christmas with the Joker. So make sure you guys check that out, and we'll be here. I mean, it was 6:30 this time, just because we were trying not to overlap Justice Con, but didn't exactly happen. So next week it'll be back at the normal bat time on the normal bat channel, which is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. of course Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys return for that. And yeah, anything else to say, Scott? You want to send us off?
I have nothing. This is not a day. This is
no, it's not a day. We've had
it's not a day. It's another day for me to be pithy or witty right now.
Company is here, and you know what? I'm just gonna like pour another drink and just eat some food right now. And it's been a good time. I know there's Real Emotions having a post Justice Con stream right now.
Can you have a post con stream when the con is still going?
It's still happening. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm definitely not gonna make it because it's just not gonna. It's not gonna happen tonight. But hopefully those guys have fun talking with each other with everything that happened today. And yeah, man. I still don't have the outro that I want. I'm still working on it, but there's soon going to be like a different kind of outro that happens. But as of right now, we've got the normal Film Junkie outro, and make sure you subscribe, hit that like, thumbs up, do all the stuff that's down below. You got the Film Junkie Closet, the Patreon, the membership, everything you guys want to do. And then of course we got Scott over here with Squadcast. Make sure you do all that. And then yeah, check out the interviews today. If you haven't checked out them, check them out. Like I said, they did a good job of pairing the people to who they needed to, because in my opinion, I think the Lennox and McClellan interview was top. It was top tier. Just saying.
Thank you, man. I have to go catch up on a lot of interviews myself. So that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, there it is. All right, guys. Thank you for clicking in, and we'll talk to you guys later.